What's that? Who's gonna win the Eagles game? Dallas? Eagles are gonna beat Dallas? We'll see.
They're gonna run the game. They're gonna run game.
All right, today, tie rods, sway bar links, and front brakes.
Get people to watch it, eh?
Get people to watch what?
Video?
I mean, you gotta post them for people to watch them.
No, but do they watch them?
Some of them are hit or miss.
Yeah.
Don't forget to recycle.
What's the matter?
I'm gonna take the tires off. Be right back. This vehicle failed inspection for tie rods. You can see the boot is coming apart. There's no grease in there. It has play. And the brakes. The brakes are pretty low. And we're gonna do rotors because there's a vibration. So we're gonna get inner and the outer tie rod off. Measure it, put the new ones on, put it back, grease it up, and go from there. This one's also, you can see, the right side's also pretty torn up. Rubber coming off. We'll turn the wheel all the way to the right, take this side off, take the boot off, and then put it back. And try to get it as perfect as we can so we don't got to do an alignment. These also got to be replaced. Sway bar links. I don't feel like I got a lot of play. I don't understand why I've got to do them. But that's what the shop said. Maybe this side's got play. Yeah, this side's definitely got play. You can hear it. Yeah, that sway bar link. It's up top. Up top here. It's got some play. Is that the new one?
Yeah.
It's used, right?
What? The headlights?
Yeah, this headlight's used.
Oh.
That's the new one?
Yeah,
Where's the old one at? Yeah, this is fucked up. I didn't realize it was cracked like that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Shit.
The other headlight has to clean.
It looks so much better.
Yeah.
Now you gotta clean this one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, look how clean that is.
I'm gonna call them up tomorrow and see they have a light.
They have this shit at Harbor Freight to clean these headlights.
Yeah, you can get them anywhere.
Actually, I got polish here that'll work.
Yeah, sand it. You got sand it down.
Yeah. 1,000 grit.
Then you gotta go that 2,000, 1,000, or like that, and then get the wheel.
I have it here if you want to use it. Alright, so here's the clamp that goes on the boot for the inner tie rod. I just used needle nose pliers to take that off. And then in there, I don't know if you can see or not, all the way back there, there's a clamp right there. So I got up in there with a flat head and just spun it, and that clamp for the inside part of the boot just broke off, came out of those notches there, and then that's good to go. And I was actually able to find some of these bad boys here from Harbor Freight, stainless steel cable ties, so I'm gonna use them. I think they were like $4. I'm gonna use them for the inside of that boot when I go back together, and we'll see how that works. All right, so over here working on this van, of course I got sidetracked. Problem we're having, this turn signal is not working. That one's working. Back one's working. This one ain't working. It is now. All right, yeah, it's working. So I hooked up power probe to the battery, came over here to the blue wire, which is your turn signal wire / hazard wire. This butt connector was in between, so I went on this side, and you can hear it beep. That means the turn signal is working on that side. I got voltage on that side. You see it flashing. And then the other side, nothing. So you put these two wires together, turn signal works. So inside this butt connector is probably corroded, so we're just cutting that out, putting a new butt connector in, so that turn signal can work. And we're street legal. The power probe to the rescue again. Ain't the prettiest thing in the world, but that's my tie rod and tool. So this is the tool I made to get the, fuck, that's still hot. Oh, shit. To get the inner tie rod out. Put it around there. Get the breaker bar on there, pop it off. I took the whole assembly out. Now I'm gonna measure from here to here, and then put the new one back on. And I'm gonna reuse the boot. Definitely gotta reuse that boot, so I gotta take this nut off. But I'm gonna measure it, write down my measurement, take that nut off, and hopefully the new one's about the same size. Count my turns coming off, and then go from there. Just to show you guys, this is what I did. So right here, and then to the end right here, and I got 17 3/4. I wrote it down there so I don't forget. All right, back in the garage. Wanted to show you real quick how I got the old tie rod end off here. So took this pipe wrench, locked that in the vise like that, and broke it free that way. Now once I take this off and the nut off, I could slide that boot right off and reuse that boot. We'll get that off. So I wanted to see on the new one here, see if these match up. See if the thread is the same length, so I can measure it. Looks like, yep, it's basically the same length there. So let's count them turns one more time. Put it back on and count the turns coming off.
That might help us. Oh, don't turn on me. It's a lot of turns. Ready? So something like that. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, 19 turns. Now we can also measure this distance from here to the nut. So we'll get another tape measure. Fuck. Let's see here. We got about an inch and one. I'd say an inch and a quarter. Yeah, we'll go with that. Inch and a quarter. All right. Take the nut. And we'll take the boot, put it on the new one.
All right, so here's the new tie rod, outer, inner boot from the old one. And we got from the middle of this to the end of this, 17 3/4. That's what we wrote down. That's what we want to try to get the alignment as close as we possibly can. It's probably gonna wind up needing alignment anyway, but this is just a good way to get it close. So we got it at 17 3/4, almost exactly where the old one is. So we'll put this one back on, tighten that up. And this actually came with like a little roll pin in here that locks it, but we're still gonna put some Loctite in there to make sure it doesn't come loose, because you do not want that to come loose. That would be a bad fucking day. So let's get this back in there and I'll check back with you guys afterwards. Just to show you, this is how my ugly fucking tool works here. It's a cut wrench with a socket welded on the end. I had to make that a little smaller, so I shimmed up the wrench right there. And then I got my extension coming out here. And then I used my breaker bar there to tighten up on it. All right, once we get that inner tie rod nice and tight, these new ones come with this little, I don't know if you can see, it's a little roll pin, and that goes in. There's little holes in there. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's one right there. So that little roll pin goes in there for safety, so these don't come loose while you're driving, which is pretty cool. I like that. It makes me feel a little warm and fuzzy inside. All right, so this little roll pin is almost impossible to put in that hole while the tie rod is on the van. So I'm gonna start it off the van and then put it on and then tap it home, because it's just not happening with the tie rod off of the van. All right, we got that started with the hammer. Put a little Loctite in there, the blue stuff, so we don't screw over the next guy. And then we're gonna put it back in there. These are the Harbor Freight steel zip ties that we're gonna use for inside there, all the way back there. I don't know if y'all can see. Yeah, back there on the inside of the boot. They put these steel zip ties on there, see how they work out. It's the first time I'm trying them, so hopefully we get lucky and they work out pretty good. I've seen people use regular zip ties. I just feel like the steel will hold up a lot better, so we're gonna go with that. All right, so that steel zip tie actually worked out pretty good back there. I got it nice and tight, and it's definitely holding that boot on. Now we're gonna line up the clamp here, and then, well, line up the other end of the boot, I'm sorry, right here. So there's a little groove in here, and then there's a lip on the boot. You want that lip to fall into that groove, and then once it falls into that groove, you put your clamp over it and you're good to go. All right, now we're replacing the sway bar link. It goes in here like that. Put the vice grips behind here like that. And then get your gun on the nut. It's at 18, and then zip it off. And then do the same thing on the bottom one here. Pop that off. And put your new one on. I also wanted to add, sometimes you just gotta break these fucking lower joints off of these sway bar links just to get a better grip on them. On the old ones, that's okay to do. Don't do it on the new ones, obviously, but to get a good grip, just snap that motherfucker right off there. Grab it with the vice grips and then loosen it up. No. Taking my time.
That's great.
What's the rush?
I got
All right, so we got the other tie rod on the outer, on the passenger side, done. That did not need a inside tie rod. Got the sway bar link on. Next thing we're gonna do is throw some brake pads on this thing, take it back to the shop, and get updated inspection stickers, because that expired in October and it's now November. So the guy at the shop was pretty cool. He said we could do all the work ourselves, which they wanted to charge me like $1,000 to do all the shit. So I was like, nah, I'll do it myself. And then take it back and he's gonna throw some stickers on it for us. Next thing I'm gonna do is the front brake pads. So what you wanna do is come in here, get the key in, make sure your steering wheel is unlocked so you can turn the front rotors freely and get to them easier. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna turn this as much as we can that way so we can get to the caliper and the nuts and slide that off. So you're gonna get your 12mm wrench, loosen these slide nut bolts, top and bottom. You only really need to take out one. So I'm gonna take out the bottom one. Pop that out. Wiggle the rotor up like that. Well, don't wanna mess your wires up. All right, so I will have to take that one off as well. Pop that one out. Some of them you could just take one out and get away with it. Pop this out through the slide, but this one clearly is different because it's a Ford. It's not a Honda or a Nissan. Nothing against Ford. I mean, Ford's alright, but I think the Japanese got it figured out. Their shit's a lot easier to work on. Alright, that's out. Pop that rotor off and take a look at these brake pads. Just leave that hang. And oh my God, we need brakes. Would you look at that? So we'll throw some pads on there, push that piston in, and we should be good to go.